So I'm curious, as somebody that tries to do a daily vlog, I would love to like pick your brain on on your process of what to film in the sense of, how do you decide what clips you're, because like a big portion of, I mean, you probably figured this out from when you're doing weddings and stuff, is like, you obviously, you don't film the whole thing because then you have 15 hours of content and you can't comb through all that. So how do you decide, okay, I know I need to film this, I don't need to film this kind of thing?
Um, for behind the scenes stuff, it often is filming most of it because the moment you miss something is the moment that it should be in the video. Now, there's times where like you can gauge uh, what's going on or the attitude,
Mm,
if the band's not in a great mood or if like if you're on set and the directors, people are like, it's just bad energy. Usually you're not going to get very good footage.
hmm.
You're not going to get any smiles. You're not going to get any uh, improv or people being silly on camera, which is always great. Um, but I think that question goes more towards, I mean, filming, yes, but even editing, right?
Hmm.
It's like, what are you really using? What are you going to use? And that always goes to the story and what you're trying to tell. Is it the story of the day? Is it the story of the shoot? And kind of knowing that ahead of time. I mean, this is true when I shoot too, like how I generally want a video to be structured or what
Hmm.
I'm kind of thinking about really dictates what I'm going to film and how much I'm going to film. I've always found that when I try to film a certain amount, I end up shooting too little.
Mm.
So, it's like, oh, I thought I got enough B-roll, but then when you're in the editing room, you
Yeah.
realize I kind of need to fill this moment, or that interview kind of sucked, and now I need more music and I need more content to it, or just in more smiles. People having a good time, even if the set sucked. There's you got to capture those moments, but I always try and think about what I'm trying to say with the video, even when I'm on set. Like when I was doing the Sweetie and Her music video, it was very much like get on set and like, whoa, there's all these sets like builds around. Okay, I kind of want to focus on that because they were building like 5 different sets, which is really cool. And that's obviously going to be a big piece of this video. So now I got to think about maybe the interviews I get shaping that a little bit, maybe interviewing the production designer, which I ultimately did.
Hmm.
Um, but telling the story is kind of how it all comes full circle there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I think that the vlog idea is a really, really cool idea. I love, first of all, making them, but I also love watching them because you kind of get, as an artist, you get insight into your favorite artist, but also like things you can learn. Like, oh, that's how they get that shot, or that's how they do this, or that's the lighting that they use, right? I see it from a technical aspect, but even if you're just a fan of the group, you can, watch, or the artist, you can see, oh, that's so cool. You get to learn their personalities more. But I think as an up and coming artist, any artists that watch this after the fact, I think it's a really cool way to develop a connection to your supporters, because they get to see you for who you are, not just this make-up, perfect person in the music video or in, on the songs. They get to see the real person. So it's interesting when you do like, a specific day, like you specifically go into a behind the scenes of a shoot. But I'm curious if you have, for people that were to do a daily vlog, like I think a lot of artists should, or something, or a weekly vlog. How do you tell that story where it's just relatively the mundane as opposed to, a specific event of going to like a New York City party or going to, shooting a music video or something, like, or on tour?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of daily vlogs with Pentatonics on tour, and some days are much more interesting than others.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just got to cut it down, just like not try and put everything in it, and say, okay, I did get the content, but maybe this day is a minute and a half long and not 4 minutes or something.
Mm.
But otherwise, there's a lot of different strategies to move things along. There's montages, where you put stuff with music and get your more shots, and maybe I don't have dialogue that's kind of mundane. Maybe I find ways to make the camera moves more interesting. It depends obviously what kind of vlog you're talking about. But if you're, oh, you know what, I don't really have much today, but I wanted to kind of talk about my day. Maybe you try something new with the camera. Maybe you try something new with the transitions.
Mm.
It's not too far out of what you've been doing. Um, but I think just trying to stay creative, even with the most mundane
Yeah.
things, because ultimately, like, and honestly, and knowing when to just cut things out and just say maybe this isn't maybe this is kind of a boring day, and so we'll make it more quicker, snappier with some music, and then focus on the next time being more interesting or doing
Hmm.
something out of your daily routine that spices up the video a little bit.
Yeah, it's super interesting, man. Absolutely.